everyone, welcome back. Today I'm gonna tell you about the synopsis of Extraordinary Attorney Wu episode 10. In this episode, starts with Jongwoo listening to her whale noise on the subway. However, she's distracted by a man running through the carriage trying to get away. He claimed this is an illegal arrest and Jongwoo actually speaks up and points out she is an attorney so she knows what she's talking about. The police officer soon revealed that he's been charged with rape against someone with a disability. Suyeon and Yongwoo are assigned to defend this man, Yongil's case. The charges are serious and it could result in him getting life in prison. Yongil is convinced that this is a big misunderstanding as he and Hyung, the victims, are in love. It turned out Hyung has a credit card in her name and paid for their dates, which is what the prosecution are using as an argument towards him taking advantage of her. Yongil is frustrated and points out this isn't the case and actually it was love at first sight. Unfortunately, the case is going to include Jongwoo discrediting Hyung's statement. However, she's adamant to follow through with this and believes she should defend Yongil, especially if he really is in love with Hyeyoung. Of course, this echoes back to her own feeling towards Junho. Myung-suk tests Suyeon with jumping in to calm Young-woo with the "whoa whoa" mantra if need be. In the courtroom, Young-woo is encouraged to stand up and give the opening statement, especially as everyone in the courtroom is glaring at them. So Young-woo stands up and admits she has autism spectrum disorder. Young-woo begins by bringing up the text message between the pair a day after the incident occurred. Given they're talking normally and even mention how they miss one another, Young-woo questioned the validity of this accusation. But then Hyung's mother stands up and immediately throws shit at all of this, claiming they need to read between the lines. After work, Young-woo waits for Junho and has a whole itinerary full of date ideas they can go on. Junho has a big old grin on his face and curious whether they can't hold hands. As for Young-woo though, she only allows it for 57-second maximum. She even times it too, but can't manage longer than 30 seconds is a good start, I guess. Back in the courtroom, a psychiatrist confirmed that Hyeyoung's mental age is the equivalent of a 13 years old, and she clearly feels bad about the whole incident. The psychiatrist interprets this as her not consenting. Even with the text message in mind, she brings up how this isn't contradictory given Hyeyoung wanted to be loved and may not have fully meant what she said. During a recess, things take an even more serious turn. Suyeon finds out that Young-il has actually done this before. Apparently, he rounded up debt for a different girl with an intellectual disability who paid it all off in private so it didn't go on his record. This was actually a year back. When Young-woo confronts Young-il about this, he points out there was someone else but that he and Hyeyoung really are in love and he needs her help. That evening, while Young-woo is thinking over what to do, she ends up on a date with Junho, some of his old friends show, and Junho tells them he's currently on a date. When Young-woo introduces herself, she has another light bulb moment as she realizes what BA means, Barista Academy. Now, this happens to be code that she and Young-il shared in their chat, and it means that Hyeyoung want to speak to Young-woo alone at the coffee shop. Remembering the message, Young-woo shows up and questions Hyeyoung. It turned out he really does love her and she loves him. Her mother made her write the statement, so the only way around this is for Hyeyoung to step up and defy her mother. Young-woo encouraged Hyeyoung to speak up and tell the truth. Meanwhile, Suyeon is set up on her date with Kim In-sik, but the latter is incredibly nervous and he fumbles his word. Not only that, but he throws out a number of word-related puns that completely throw Suyeon off her game. In fact, she makes an excuse and immediately runs away. The next day in court, Young-il is removed while Hyeyoung steps up to testify. Young-woo's questioning leads her to sidestep around blaming her mother, but does outright plea with the jury not to let Young-il go to prison. The prosecutor immediately goes in and questions Hyeyoung over what the difference between sexual assault and intercourse is. She can't answer it. The attorney continues on and shows off pictures of Hyeyoung's hands, which includes some awful scratching. The lawyer believes this is because of the incident involving Young-il. Eventually, Hyeyoung loses her composure and rushes back to her mother. Outside the courtroom though, Hyeyoung's mother confronts Young-woo and she drops her papers in surprise, clutching her head and shaking. Junho heads out with his friend who happen to pervert him and question why he's dating Yongwoo, believing it's out of sympathy. Junho is angry and lashes out, tackling his friend to the ground. At the same time, Minwoo continues to investigate Youngwoo's ties with Taesumi. He goes for dinner with attorney Kim, who brings up rumors circulating about her having another child. The next day in court, the jurors come to their decision. Young-il is not guilty. Young-il stands to hear his verdict, and despite the jury's decision, Young-il is imprisoned for 2 years. Even worse, he's going to have this on his record, limiting his employment option. It's a tough pill to swallow, with Hee-young bursting into tears in the courtroom after. That night, Yomu welcomes Junho home and admits he's going to still like her no matter what happens. The pair stand together, staring into one another's eyes before their pair kiss. Silhouette against the beautiful twinkling backdrop of the city. During the epilogue, we cut back to Kwang-ho again, but with a bit more context around his chat with Taesumi. She hands over a prospectus for Dasan. She's convinced that Kwang-ho and Young-woo planned this to take her down and for her to work at Hanbada. Taesumi admits that she's amazing at her job and suggests she move overseas to the States. Of course, Sumi is trying to get rid of her, and even suggests he get doctors involved to help Youngwoo's condition. Kwang-ho is angry at her interference and points out the hubris she has interfering like this. Eventually, he demands she get out, struggling to compose himself. That's all for today. See you in the next video. Bye!